We are back. We're here with another Flight Club package. It is June 2025, the month of cheese. Believe it or not, it was National Cheese Day earlier this month, and as a new feature and focus, we have launched a massive chocolate and cheese pairing section for the website. So this month, we are going to be trying to pair all of these chocolate bars with various cheeses. We also have two new makers from South America that we're highlighting this month. They are phenomenal and decadent, and I cannot wait for these pairing sessions. We unfortunately didn't have the time to do some May video content. It was busy as always, and chocolate never sleeps. Neither do I. That's why my voice is sounding a little groggy, but luckily I got a coffee handy, so we're going to get through this, and I cannot wait to discuss this month's Flight Club package. So, to begin, we're going to be looking at a new maker, Baiani Chocolate from Brazil. This is their 70% bold roast dark chocolate. Baiani is out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. They are a tree to bar maker, so that means that they own the farms, which the trees are on, which is what the cocoa is on, which is what they're farming. And they are, as made it the source as possible, so to speak. This bar is interesting because, they have a few different roast levels. Think of like roasting coffee beans, similar to roasting cocoa beans. So this bold roast is a 70% dark, obviously single origin Brazil, and it has a super deep and rich flavor. This has won multiple international awards, and as a comparative basis, they offer some more mild roasted cocoa beans, but also 70%, so it's more or less the same formula, but super interesting to taste the flavor differences, when the ingredients are exactly the same, the only difference being how, you know, the roast level of the cocoa prior to crafting into chocolate. It is an unbelievable treat, and this is, I can't pick favorites, but quickly rising up the ranks as a new top dark chocolate choice of mine. This is, a great chocolate overall, to put it lightly. When pairing, I would probably recommend a harder cheese like a Gruyere, maybe even cheddar perhaps, and obviously wine would go great with this, maybe a Merlot or a Cab. It is super bold, and Biani's classic chocolate bar, probably the best chocolate that you could taste to be introduced to the brand. It is a lot of fun, and I cannot get enough. That's not going to last long as soon as we get into our unboxings. Moving on to our next feature from Obolo, which is out of Santiago, Chile. They are also bean to bar, and this is their 37% white chocolate with the Patagonia Myrta berry. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's a native Chilean berry. You can kind of think of it like an acai, but different. It is, a superfood berry, so it's super not I don't make the rules. That's just kind of what they call it. But the berry is, like a pinkish hue, has a pinkish hue to it, and it actually transforms this high cocoa butter content white into a pink chocolate bar. And they add just a hint of like, crushed sprinkled raspberries on the back. So it is a true delight. This is an amazing chocolate. They actually recommend to pair this with, sparkling white or a shard. And for cheese, I would say something softer and lighter so the flavors don't, interfere with each other too much, like a mozzarella, maybe even a brie you could think of, but they are absolutely phenomenal. All of Ovolo's chocolates are, out of this world. Not too many bean to bar makers out of Chile as well, and this is going to be a phenomenal addition to your next charcuterie board. Who doesn't like impressing friends with pink chocolate? I know. I'm used to it, but I think everyone is going to adore this white. It is super unique and, really can only be found in that region of Central America, that Myrta berry. Moving on to what might be one of the top charcuterie board chocolates out there. A familiar face, Dick Taylor Craft Chocolate out of Eureka, California. We have featured this, a few years back. They're 72% dark chocolate bar with black fig. However, they, in the past, maybe 6 months, have changed the cocoa bean origin for this chocolate. So, what was previously a Madagascar cocoa origin, they have transitioned to Tanzania, and this flavor profile is unbelievable. It has some, the cocoa has some tropical and red berry kind of secondary notes. They use organic cane sugar from Brazil, and they have the California Black Mission figs that are generously sprinkled all over the backside, kind of like it adds a nice chewy texture to the chocolate, and this is just a match made in heaven. Honestly, I think this is Dick Taylor's best-selling bar. This also would pair well with some lighter cheeses like a brie, but if you want to be more bold, you could get up into harder cheeses like a cheddar, maybe even a parm. It is unbelievable and another massive treat. This month as a whole, I think, is one of our strongest months in quite a while. And following Dick Taylor's is Fioke out of Eidfjord, Norway. How could we not include the Norwegian brown cheese? This is made with, it's actually, the brown cheese is a goat cheese, so bad, as a goat would say. But this is a great chocolate. It's a 45% milk with single origin Haiti cocoa beans, super caramely flavor. It even looks like it has a caramel hue to it. And they also have a pinch of salt from North Sea Salt Works out of Norway. So that is actually a Salt Bay move right there. So just a hint of salt, but this, at face value, you might be like, brown cheese and chocolate. But then once you taste it, because that was my, first reaction, once you taste it, your taste buds will be flying to the moon. This bar has won 11 international awards, and it is such a unique and unforgettable flavor profile. I cannot wait to dig in. And lastly, for our in-flight treat, we have included from Guittard some 900 count semi-sweet baking chips. Now, you might be looking at that and saying, hmm, perhaps, but the reason being is we've also included a recipe to make a like hot fudge sundae dip. It's a 3 ingredient recipe, could be made in, 10, 15 minutes, and would also fit perfectly in the center of a charcuterie board for dipping fruits, even cheese, perhaps even other chocolate, to have a double chocolate. Why not? We like to have fun. Only wish I had some wine to be swishing around here, but I'm still on my coffee grind right now. So we'll get there later today, but for the time being, it's all things chocolate and cheese. I would say if you were to pair this with cheese, you might not need to because it's already in there, but they do have it's called Ski Queen, which is a brown cheese you can get at the supermarket. It's a super unique and, I can't compare it to anything else I've tasted. It's almost like a medium hard soft cheese, but it has a very subtle caramely flavor, but it is no way overpowering, and it's kind of like a perfect savory sweet mix. An unbelievable selection we have here today, and I again cannot wait to come in and build a charcuterie board and start pairing. I have been making plenty this week to pull things together for quote unquote practice tasting, but now that we've become experts together, we'll be able to knock everyone's socks off and really give them a great tasting experience. That about covers our introduction video. So we're about to jump into these unboxings. And again, I cannot wait. As always, thanks for tuning in. And you know the deal: eat, sleep, breathe, chocolate. Cheers.